our capabilities have begun to catch up to our ambitions. Humanity is now entering a period of radical transformation in which technology has the potential to significantly raise the basic standards of living for every man, woman, and child on the planet. Within a generation, we will be able to provide goods and services once reserved for the wealthy few to any and all who need them or desire them. Abundance for all is actually within our grasp. To begin understanding how, let's start with a historical example, the lesson of aluminium. Plinius, known as Pliny the Elder, best known for his Naturalis Historia, set the story of a goldsmith who bought an unusual dinner plate to the court of Emperor Tiberius. The goldsmith invented a way to make stunning aluminium plates and presented it to Tiberius. Aluminium was rarer than gold then. The emperor had conquered almost all Europe and amassed a fortune of gold and silver along the way. So, if this new metal comes up, then the value of all the gold and silver that he got would decline. And he was a financial expert who knew this. Therefore, recounts Pliny, instead of giving the goldsmith the regard expected, he ordered for him to be beheaded. This shiny new metal was aluminium, and that beheading marked its loss to the world for nearly 2 millennia. It next reappeared during the early 1800s, but was still rare enough to be considered the most valuable metal in the world. Napoleon III himself threw a banquet for the king of Siam, where the honored guests were given aluminium utensils while the others had to make do with gold. Because of aluminium's high affinity for oxygen, it never appears in nature as a pure metal. Instead, it is found tightly bound as oxides and silicates in a clay-like material called bauxite. While bauxite is 52% aluminium, separating out the pure metal ore was a complex and difficult task then. Later we figured out a process called electrolysis. Effectively, aluminium is now so abundant that it's used with almost a throwaway mindset now. Now let's push this a little further. Say you have access only to the oranges that fall to the ground from the trees in a garden. So you may get 4 to 5 of them in one go. But just as someone invents a ladder, you're able to access an abundance of them. You see, abundance is just about accessibility now. What if we are able to access so much solar energy that we don't have to use fossil fuels? We think that the world can end up in water scarcity, but the earth is 70% water. What if we just figure out an economic way of accessing the water in the oceans? The point is this. When seen through the lens of technology, few resources are truly scarce. They're mainly inaccessible. Yet the threat of scarcity still dominates our worldview. Let's push this a little further. You know Elon Musk? He's talking of getting humans on Mars. Maybe then instead of worldview, we would need some expansion there as well, as there can be worlds. This is the first part of the book which talks about the perspective. At its core, this book examines the hard facts, the science and engineering, the social trends and economic forces that are rapidly transforming our world. The 20th century, for example, witnessed both incredible advancement and unspeakable tragedy. But what do we have now? Today, even the poor people have access to some of the technologies like a telephone, television, and a flush toilet, 3 luxuries that even the wealthiest couldn't imagine at the turn of the last century. In fact, as will soon be clear, using almost any metric currently available, quality of life has improved more in the past century than ever before. It's because of the exponential technologies that we are still sustaining growth. Now, the book asks us an interesting question. Should we really waste our time working towards an age of global abundance? The short answer, it says, is yes. Our days of isolation are behind us. In today's world, what happens over there impacts over here. In today's hyperlinked world, solving problems anywhere solves problems everywhere. Which takes us to the next part of the book, the forces of abundance. There are 2 forces that are worth noting. A do-it-yourself DIY revolution that has been brewing for the past 50 years, but lately it's begun to bubble over. DIYers can accomplish what was once the sole province of large corporations and governments. The second force is money, a lot of money, being spent in a very particular way. The high-tech revolution created an entirely new breed of wealthy techno-philanthropists who are using their fortunes to save global abundance-related challenges. Bill Gates is crusading against malaria. Mark Zuckerberg is working to reinvent education, and this list goes on and on. Taken together, our second driver is a techno-philanthropic force unrivaled in history. The last part is about having these things in place and steering faster. Imagine a world of 9 billion people with clean water, nutritious food, affordable housing, personalized education, top-tier medical care, and non-polluting, ubiquitous energy. Building this better world is humanity's grandest challenge. What follows is the story of how we can rise to meet it. So go read it now and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more such summaries.